Welcome, Lumineers and fans of the happiest card game on Earth. We're rolling into July and the reveals for Lorcana do not stop coming. This video is part 2 of 2 that went out today, showing all of the reveals since our last video. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, make sure you head over there and check it out as well. Part 1 of this includes possibly the most exciting card for a future deck I think we've seen so far. First up, we have a 4-costed inkable 3/4 for 1 lore in Sapphire, Merlin, self-appointed mentor. He has the classifications Dreamborn, Mentor, and Sorcerer, and the ability Support. A few reasons for me personally why this card is very exciting. This was the first card revealed by a content creator. Dalu Card is an awesome German gamer, and he was given the honor of showing this card on social media. Just saying, Lorcana, my Twitter DMs are open. It's also exciting because it shows off support in a much better light. First of all, we'd only seen this card originally on Hey Hey, who, whilst is a very solid 1-drop, giving +1 to something strength when it quests, wasn't really very impactful. Here, Merlin is able to quest for 1 lore and then give another character 3 to their strength for that turn. If that other character's already got a base strength of 3 or even 4, then there's very little in the set so far that it isn't going to be able to banish, and you're not having to use a 2-for-1 to take out your opponent's key pieces. He isn't seeing currently much play in the small play pool that we're using at the moment, but I do think support may be a bit of a sleeper hit so far, and as we start seeing more support for it, pardon the pun, I think it's only going to get stronger. Next up, we had 3 cards revealed by Lorcana France TCG, which is a group of French social medias, including a very active Discord that has even been running proxy competitions, and they were lucky enough to share 3 cards. First of all, Merlin again, but this time on an action, a 1-costed inkable action in Amethyst called Befuddle. Return a character or item with cost 2 or less to the player's hand. I actually think we might see this more in a Sapphire Amethyst deck where you're using it to replay your own items and therefore getting the on-play abilities from them and the other characters that care about items. Perhaps more so than we will just see it being used to bounce something of your opponent's back. It's also worth mentioning that this caused a bit of a discussion around the social medias as to whether or not it gets around the ability Ward. Seeing as it doesn't contain the word choose or chosen in it anywhere, it was questioned as to whether or not Ward, an ability that says your opponent can't choose this card, whether or not it applies. Perhaps the card text should read return a chosen character or item with cost 2 or less to their player's hand, just to make sure that there's no ambiguity. But Team Lorcana have come out and officially announced that this does not get around Ward, and even though the card doesn't state that a character or item is chosen or choosed is not a real word, the player is still choosing a character or an item with this card, and therefore Ward would still apply. We would really love to see a comprehensive rule set. Also in the Lorcana France reveal, we got a 2-costed inkable 2/3 for 1 lore in Amber, Simba Protective Cub, a Storyborn hero prince with the ability Bodyguard. Oh wow, this is a great little 2-drop, especially in Amber that has loads of other smaller characters that you're going to be playing as part of most likely the Stitch package. Just think, if you have a 1-drop Hey Hey come out, turn 2 you play Simba and have him coming in exerted, Hey Hey is going to be able to quest all day long. Not only that, on the turn after that, Hey Hey is going to be able to quest and then give Simba +1 to his strength, maybe even being able to take out a pretty decent sized character. Bodyguard on a smaller character, especially in this color, is just awesome. We're going to have a look at another card in a moment that will really play well into this as well. And then here it is, folks, the best card in the game so far. That may well sound like quite a big statement, but honestly, I don't think there is a single card currently that is more impactful on the board state when it is played. It is a 6-costed inkable 4/5 for 2 lore in Steel, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, a Floodborn ally fairy. Floodborn meaning that she can shift onto another Tinkerbell card for a cheaper cost, here being able to pay 4 to play her on top of one of your other characters named Tinkerbell. She also has the ability Rock the Boat. When you play this character, deal 1 damage to each opposing character, and Puny Pirate. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may deal 2 damage to chosen opposing character. Wow, a lot of text, probably the most text we've had on a card so far. but it is all warranted. Cookie's done an awesome job on the art here as well, by the way. It's possibly one of my favorites. I know I say that about pretty much all the art in this game, but still. Anyway, let's just take a look at what's happening here. If you get out a Tinkerbell Tiny Tactician on turn 3, you are able to play this card on turn 4. It deals 1 damage to all of the opposing characters. If one of those characters is exerted, it is then able to rush into them due to Shift taking on the properties of the card below it, so it won't have the ink drying, it won't need to have the ink dry. It's able to rush straight into something. It then will most likely banish that thing because it has 4 strength. Then once it's banished that, it's able to deal 2 more damage to something else, being able then to take out a 3 willpower character because it's already dealt the 1 from Rock the Boat. This is basically a board wipe. It's an incredibly strong card. At the moment, it is struggling against evasive decks, so the Ruby and Emerald package that plays a lot of evasive creatures that Tinkerbell is not able to swing into. And it's a little telegraphed on turn 3 if you throw down the Tiny Tactician Tinkerbell. Most likely, if your opponent has any clue about the game, they're not going to start exerting into that. But even still, Tinkerbell coming down on turn 4, she's a huge body that's able to quest for 2 lore, and she's pinging everything for 1. The Stitch decks that are playing 1-drop Maleficents and 1-drop Pascals are absolutely dreading this card. They're having nightmares about this card. Next up, Brett Ballet, a German YouTuber that covers tabletop games, also had a card reveal. This is a 6-costed Inkable 6/6 for 2 lore in steel, Kronk, Right-Hand Man. He's a Storyborn ally. It's a vanilla. I don't know. I haven't really got much to say about this. Steel seems to be getting a lot of big vanillas. Maybe there's going to be stuff that helps them quest easier or stuff. I don't know. It's a good body, but there's very little I can say about this. And for those of you keeping count, the 101 card to be revealed was Kronk, actually. This was 102. Which makes me think maybe somebody let Kronk out a little early. But still, very much on theme, we have a 4-costed Inkable 2/3 for 2 lore in Ruby, Pongo, Old Rascal. He has the ability Evasive. He's a Storyborn hero. Ooh, this card is spicy. Evasive is looking stronger and stronger, especially these slightly cheaper ones as well. The big problem with the Evasive cards were that they're 5 drops, 6 drops, even 8 drops, I think. Yeah, Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor is an 8 drop. So seeing these cards cheaper is really pretty good. I do wonder whether we'll see them even cheaper. I know Pascal in Amethyst technically can be evasive, you know, with some caveats, but I'm not sure whether we'll see them getting much cheaper because evasive is just really strong and is only going to be stronger the cheaper the card is to play when your opponent has less answers through targeted removal or AoE damage. Pongo will happily sit across Giant Tink and just quest for days. A really great fun card and common as well. Crazy. And then catching us up until yesterday at time of recording, this one was revealed from German site GameStar. It is a 1-costed uninkable 1/1 for 2 lore in Amber, Lilo, Wünscht sich was. I don't do German, sorry. I think it translates wishing on a star. That the flavor text is something about wishing on a star. There's a thing in the movie where she's like, "Get out of my room, I'm wishing on a star." And it's been a while since I've seen it, but still, as far as the card goes, really solid little 1-drop here. It's basically Amber's version of Maleficent biding her time, and very thematically fits into the Stitch decks as well. Yes, she's most likely going to get obliterated on turn 4 by Giant Tink, but by that point, she's probably already quested for 2, 4, maybe even 6 lore. I'd have to do the math there on how stuff gets played. But also, how good does she go with the Simba Protective Cub that we saw earlier? You can play Lilo on turn 1, you can play Simba on turn 2, and then Lilo is very comfortably going to be able to quest for 2 lore, safe in the knowledge that Simba's got her back. I don't know long term whether or not this will see much play, but I do think it's very clear as to which deck this needs to be going into. Which is the other thing that I've been really excited about the reveals recently. I think we've now shifted from saying, oh yeah, that seems like a good card, I wonder, to actually saying, oh yes, it's very clear the archetypes that the game is starting to build for this first set and where stuff is looking to go as far as the design goes. Very exciting stuff. We look forward to seeing much more. Still no real schedule to speak of as to when these are dropping. I am going to try and get on top of videos now. We are ramping up a little bit and bring these out a little bit more more regularly, just to show off maybe 2-3 reveals, because some days we have been getting 4 cards in a day, and that's 4, I think, is more than enough to do a video on. If I get time to be able to sit down and do these for you. I very much enjoy doing these for you, but I do, have a day job and a kid and stuff, so I have to kind of, carve out some time for them. But very much appreciate you all being here. Thanks so much to the 1,000 subscribers. I will be drawing the winner for the 1,000 subscribers giveaway. If you did miss that, you can go back a couple of videos and see how you can enter for that. We've got some Lego minifigs and some older Disney trading card games to give away. But until the next one, thank you so much for watching. I love you all to bits. Till then, be good.